I always considered repeated chords like this to be one of the ultimate techniques, and one of the things I was determined to solve through my piano portals work. And if you've looked at any of that already, you've probably picked up that the concept of the portal reflects the fact that you can't always perfect the thing that you want to perfect by practicing that thing. So the portal is a safe, expressive musical environment where you can almost trick your body into the technique that you need and then juxtapose that with the snippet of repertoire that you're trying to perfect. So as always, I would find a simpler portal, perhaps in a simpler key. And ideally your portal would be one that activates your body and feelings with a rhythm, because that's the kind of holistic context into which the smaller levers towards the periphery of your playing coordination like to slot in, at least at first. So in your portal, switch between thumbs alone and simple two-note chords. Watching videos of the great players play examples such as the Schubert Liszt Erlkönig gave me one of my top tips, which is to give yourself permission to move about on the key. As I say throughout my online technique courses, giving permission is not the same as trying to do something. So you don't want to be trying to move about on the key, but just allow yourself to move backwards and forwards freely, if that's what your hand seems to want to do. And as with octaves or any other kind of chords, if you can't do it successfully with just your thumb, then you won't be able to do it with the whole texture. Then return to the original music with just the thumbs, but play the left hand as written. This helps to awaken what Abby Whiteside called the emotional rhythm of the music. And without this authentic personal connection with the mood, the character, the flow of the music, and the corresponding activation in your torso especially, it can be very difficult to perfect the technique simply by focusing on the outer elements, and I've certainly found that very easy to come by in this glorious song. And then add both outer notes in the right hand, so you're playing either octaves or two-note chords, and keep switching back to thumbs alone just to check in that you're not changing your coordination too much when you're adding the extra note. Obviously there may be the subtlest of differences in the way your hand is shaped or things like that, but I wouldn't focus unduly on that. I would just check that the basic, essential feeling is the same. And without doing anything too awkward or certainly not uncomfortable, I found it helpful sometimes just to tuck your elbow in slightly and lean forward slightly, just to feel as if you're connected with your torso in particular and the rest of your body going down into your sitting bones, and that this kind of vibrating action happens only at the very periphery, but it's centrally controlled. And finally, I would add the middle note, but sometimes take it away again spontaneously now and then, just to check in that again the coordination feels more or less the same. And as with all piano portals advice, your ears remain key. So this is by no means an activity with a purely mechanical focus. You want to be singing along to those repeated notes in your mind's ear, knowing the tune of them, focusing on one line or the other, perhaps the thumb tune, in order to keep track of and monitor and enjoy those sounds in the present moment as you're creating them. And that in itself can be key to building confidence in the technique. But a final word of warning: having spent my music school days playing hours of exercises of the kind that tend to detach the components of your whole body playing coordination from each other, especially the thumbs and their natural flowing integration with your forearms, upper arms and torso. For me, it was a journey that took some time, embracing many creative approaches, including improvising, playing chords in all sorts of contexts, and my own piano portals patterns, before my flexion and extension of my forearm reintegrated nicely, like in the case of able children who don't even need to think about these things. You may need to address this in more oblique ways before you can perfect this technique in the context of the repertoire. So if you're ready to reset and reconnect these elements of your coordination yourself, please head to pianoportals.com/courses and see what a transformational holistic approach could do for you. Remember to like and subscribe for more holistic piano portals for the repertoire that you want to play.